Yo, what's going on guys, Ian77 here. In today's video we're going to be playing this quick cycle logbait deck at top ladder. Alright, hopping in the first game, we're up against Legend Gamer. Pretty sure this guy's a Pekka player. And by the way guys, you can play this deck with Tesla, or you can also, with Tesla Skeletons, or you can also use Inferno Tower Guards. My friend last season actually finished top 50 using Inferno Tower Guards, so I think it's definitely viable. I would suggest just using whatever you're more comfortable with or have higher levels with. Tesla's definitely a lot better against like bridge spam decks and a lot of the fast cycle decks, but Inferno Tower just way better against any heavy deck, like probably Mega Knight or like Giant or Royal Giant, all that stuff. Alright, so we're up against this guy here. He's gonna Pekka in the back pretty aggressively. It is a bit of an awkward cycle for us because we don't have Tesla in cycle anymore, so I'm just gonna cycle back to it as quickly as we can. He is gonna fireball our princess, but that does mean that he has 4 less elixir to use in his Pekka push, so it shouldn't be too hard to defend. We're just gonna Tesla here just to finish it off. Gonna princess as well. Alright, so he's actually gonna bandit that Tesla. We might be able to get a king activation. Looks like probably not. Oh wow. It actually dashed on our princess as well, so we just barely managed to get it. Getting a king activation off of a bandit with this deck actually, or like off of anything really, actually helps a ton in these type of matchups. Defense should be pretty easy from now on with that king activated. Just have to watch out for the magic archers mainly. So yeah, if you guys go with like a high Tesla in that position, it can actually be. It's actually a pretty good idea to do that, to use those high Teslas, just so that they'll often like bandit on it, like on the bridge, and then it'll dash to the Tesla. Then once it kills the Tesla, if there was like something tanking for it, the bandit should be able to kill the Tesla. Then you can just like activate your king tower easily with like an electro spirit or princess. Now we're just gonna skeletons off to the side here in case he zaps or something like that. I always want to be careful of those prediction zaps. We're just going to be pretty passive here. I know a lot of you guys are in mid-ladder, so it can be good to like try to have your gameplay be similar to this, where you're just kind of being a bit passive, setting up your Teslas in the middle, not doing too much right away. Because you never know what deck they have, because a lot of time in the mid-ladder they just like will balloon first play. And yeah, that Pekka is going to get one hit there. Not really too worried about it though, because I know he can get good damage back. And yeah, he's in a really awkward cycle after that attack, so he actually got like a ton of damage there. And yeah, sometimes you do take a bit of damage with this deck, you know. It is a bit of a high pressure meta right now, it feels like, so you can't really be too worried about it though. There's no need to be over worried because it looks like we're still in a pretty good spot. And he did still fireball that, I feel like a bit late, so didn't really get much value. And our Goblin Barrel is always chipping away here. I think we just need like a rocket plus log to finish him off here. I don't really use rocket too much though, so might just get like 2 logs off just to be safe. Or we might just like Goblin Barrel rocket. Yeah, so you can't really do anything about that. He's gonna fireball, but rocket's gonna take it. GG. Alright, hopping in the next match, we're actually up against Morton here, who's a pretty popular CR content creator. This guy plays basically everything, so I'm not really sure what he's using. Gonna Goblin Barrel Electro Spirit first play, though. It's always a good idea to do that, unless you know they have something that could somehow punish that, but honestly, you're not really gonna get punished for that. Looks like he's gonna be running bait too as well. And he did actually mess up that King Tower activation against my Electro Spirit, so that's pretty nice for us. He's actually running a really interesting version of bait, never really seen this before. And it looks like he actually might not have log in his deck or like a small spell, judging by the fact that he didn't defend our Goblin Barrels twice in a row with any type of small spell. And since we used our Valkyrie on that Prince and Ghost, we're just going to Tesla up high to hopefully finish off the Queen. He is going to use an Electro Spirit as well though, so it will get 1 hit. If he really does have no small spell though, our Goblin Barrels should get us pretty steady chip damage here, and we can just defend pretty nicely with princess stacking and pre-Teslas and all of that. It will be a pretty good idea to use Goblin Barrel Electro Spirits here. You don't want to do it right here just to be a bit safe. He's going to catch that Juke Barrel pretty nicely. But yeah, so we don't really want to be too aggressive here, but yeah, it is a good idea to Goblin Barrel Electro Spirit, especially if they have like a swarmy type of deck. Alright, his queen is just going to barely survive, so I think we do have to log that. I know he has Goblin Barrel, but I feel like it's still worth it there. It would have taken like hundreds of damage. And we do have Electro Spirit to counter his Goblin Barrel, so it will get like a couple stabs off even with that, but honestly not too much damage. We're just going to Skeleton surround this Ghost and actually get a Valkyrie down really fast here so that we can fully counter the Goblin Barrel. So you do actually have like a few ways to potentially counter an enemy Goblin Barrel. We could have actually rocketed that Prince and Tower, but I didn't have like the fastest reaction time, so I didn't want to accidentally miss it or anything like that. But yeah, a rocket against Prince is actually pretty good. It does take off most of the Prince's HP, so if they do cycle Princes behind their tower, you can actually get a pretty nice rocket on that. And just keeping up the pressure with the Goblin Barrels. Don't really want to allow him to build up like a huge push, because he does have a lot of those quick units that could easily overwhelm me if I let him get to that point. And we're just gonna get a really nice Tesla there, finishing off the Queen and the Dart Goblin. And we're saving our log for his Goblin Barrel, of course, and we don't really need to ever log his Dart Goblin just because our princesses are doing a really good job at taking them off the board. And his Queen not really getting too much value, it's getting kind of like stacked up with his other spam units, so the Valkyrie just kind of incidentally like swiping at it. And yeah, it's just splashed the Ghost and the Queen there, so Queen just about dead. And yeah, our Goblin Barrel just getting chip damage every single time, so yeah, pretty good start. So, I mean, pretty good, like, I don't know how to call it, but we're just doing pretty well so far. And yeah, I feel like this matchup could be a lot more difficult with Inferno Tower, but you just see how much value Teslas in the middle are getting in this matchup. If you just pre-Tesla, they just do so much work against these spammy decks. And also Tesla is a lot better than Inferno Tower against Archer Queens, because you can just pre-place it, and then when the Queen goes invisible, it actually just hides itself, so the Queen can't finish it off too easily. He's gonna get a nice Juke Barrel though. But yeah, that's why I recommend if you play the Inferno Tower version, I'd also recommend using guards in that deck just so that you have another good Queen response. You can always rocket the Queens if you're in a dire situation, but it's not the best trade. And he is going to get a couple good Juke Barrels in a row, but honestly I don't really care at this point. Just need like 2 rockets and maybe a Goblin Stab or 2. Alright, so yeah, just gonna rocket here. Didn't hit the Ghost, but honestly I don't really care at this point. Just need to cycle back to another rocket ASAP. Yeah, that's what's nice about this really fast cycle. Like you can cycle a ton of rockets. GG. Alright, hopping in the next match, we're gonna be up against OP Sam. This is actually Morton's teammate, so that's pretty coincidental. And he does have Spear Goblins here, doesn't really tell me too much. Okay, seeing the Skelly Barrel and Skelly King, this is probably gonna be Mortar here. Hopefully he doesn't have a log or something like that, because I know sometimes these decks actually don't have a log, and that would be pretty good for us if he doesn't have a log. And by the way, the princess is underleveled, so it is having a few weird interactions here, but I know a lot of you guys are underleveled as well, so this is definitely what you guys probably have to deal with every day. But I mean, level 12 princess isn't too bad, it still gets the job done most of the time. So it looks like he's most likely not going to have a small spell. He's probably just going to try to counter most of our Goblin Barrels using that Skarmy, which is going to do a good job, but sometimes we can catch it with like a prediction log or a princess at the bridge while we get a Goblin Barrel going. So he's going to have Cannon Cart, interestingly. Just going to log it away as well, just so that we can finish it off with an E-Spirit on our side of the arena with the help of the tower. So this could get a bit more risky here now that I know he has Cannon Cart, because I'll kind of need to use my Valkyrie on the Cannon Cart a lot of the time, but that'll mean that that I can't have it for the Skeleton King, so we have to make sure we're using our Valkyrie really smartly. Gonna get a really nice princess off there, finishing off the spear gobs, and the Valkyrie gonna go towards the Skeleton King, but also distract the mortar. And we're gonna get a super nice Tesla as well here, distracting the mortar, killing the Dart Goblin, finishing off the Skelly King. Really nice plays here. And he's gonna have to deal with that princess as well. Alright. And we don't really have to be too worried about being caught on low elixir, because we have pretty cheap responses to the majority of the things he can do here. I don't think he has a minion horde either, so I don't really need to be too careful about using my princess. He's gonna defensive mortar, so we're just gonna rocket here. I know he can't really punish that too heavily. I'm gonna Tesla in the middle like that, just so that it finishes off the Skelly Barrel, but also will target onto the cannon cart, hopefully. I'm gonna Skeletons as well. Unfortunately, the Valkyrie not gonna splash on the Dart Goblin. I think the Skeleton... I feel like the Skeleton King is just a deceptive card sometimes. It's kind of like the Inferno Dragon, where you think it's on one tile, but it's actually on a different tile, so... We're not gonna hit the Dart Goblin, but luckily the Princess is gonna finish off everything pretty nicely. Gonna try to just Tesla on this cannon cart, just so we can save the Valkyrie for the Skelly King. But we're gonna have to use it anyways, just because of those pesky bats. Hopefully our Princess on the left lane will help us a bit against this Skelly King. And hopefully we can finish off the Dart Goblin as well. Okay, perfect. Those Skellies are gonna probably get a lot of damage. Yeah. Wow, that added up really quickly. Not looking too bad for us though, because we're forcing him to go same lane now, so we only have to worry about one lane. And we're actually gonna predict a log on his Skarmy, but yeah, so we had to go with it super late, and it didn't really do anything there, so looking pretty good. I'm just gonna Valkyrie on the Skelly King just to be safe, and gonna use the Tesla there on the cannon cart. You often have to use your Tesla instead of the Valkyrie on a lot of things that you normally want to use a Valkyrie against with this deck, because you don't really have too many options sometimes, but it's pretty fine unless they have something that you need the Tesla against, like a building targeting unit. And I think the Tesla will hit the Dart Goblin. Yeah, actually gonna finish it off pretty nicely. And we're getting a few Goblin stabs here as well. Only need like a couple more logs here at this point, or maybe like 2 rockets. And I'm not really afraid to rocket now that it's triple elixir time. You only have to be a bit careful in triple elixir with cycling your rockets if it's like Expo or something, but even then you can still get a few rockets off in triple. And yeah, princesses are just doing work here. They're kind of outdoing his Dart Goblins pretty nicely. And we're gonna get that rocket off, and it's gonna be GG. Alright, hopping in the next match, we're up against Alperen here. I'm pretty sure this guy mains Expo, so that's probably what he's gonna be playing here. Gonna Electro Spirit in the back, just to not give him the easiest king activation, because that does hurt this deck sometimes. He's gonna Fireball that. He might get an activated King Tower here, but... Okay, looks like he's actually not going to. Okay, he's gonna have Queen as well, and we just want to use our Tesla here against the Queen, because I know he has Expo, so it's gonna be good to save our Valkyrie just to tank it when we need it. And yeah, Queen could be a bit annoying though, just because when he has a Queen down on the field, it's gonna give him a 3-card cycle, so you might be able to get, cycle a bunch of fireballs on our tower in triple elixir especially. We're just gonna keep on logging his tower, because the nice thing about this matchup is the fact that we can always cycle logs on his tower, whereas he always has to save his log just because we have the Goblin Barrel, so he kind of just needs to save his log. He can't really use it on our tower ever. Yeah, just gonna Goblin Barrel here, just keep up our cycle and force out his log. Alright. So things aren't looking super good here, but because he is getting pretty good fireball chip damage, but we're not out of it yet. It's still a fine spot. And yeah, he's gonna get a fireball there once again, so I think from now on it's gonna be better for us to start playing our princesses a bit higher, just to not give him that tower plus princess fireball value. And he did actually have to overspend on that Valkyrie, because he did misplace his knight a little bit. We're actually gonna juke Goblin Barrel in this placement. Sometimes people miss it, and wow, we actually missed it, so we did get one Goblin Stab, which doesn't seem like too much, but it does add up over time. And we're gonna Princess at the bridge here. You kind of have to, it's a bit dirty, but you kind of have to do that against Expo. Just one of your best ways to get chip damage, since you can't really rocket their tower very often. You have to always save that for the Expo. But we're actually gonna Tesla his Expo here. Electro Spirit finishing off his skeletons really nicely. Yeah, oftentimes it's a lot better just to like Valkyrie Tesla his Expos rather than always rocketing them, because if you always rocket them, then I don't know, sometimes they can kind of just like fireball your tower or just like outcycle your rockets sometimes, but we do have a pretty fast cycle here, so not too worried about it. And he is going to use the Queen ability, so our Tesla is going to get a nice couple shots on his Expo, and we're going to clean up everything nicely. Not going to E-Spirit, because I knew it wouldn't have finished off the Queen quite yet. And yeah, we're gonna Princess here. It's kind of, this matchup is kind of all about the mind games as well, because after you get like a couple of Princesses at the breach, they start expecting it, and then they just like waste their elixir on stuff. And we're going to actually have Drag Glitch on that Tesla, but yeah, we're actually going to get a really nice rocket there. It can be a pretty good idea to delay your rockets a lot against Expo, and because sometimes they'll just start playing like their Knight or whatever in front of the Expo, so you get a really nice rocket. And yeah, so that's why I feel like this matchup is really about mind games here. Yeah, we're just going to wait to see what he does. Okay, he's going to Tesla here, so we're just going to rocket. And wow, we actually hit his Knight too, so that's kind of eliminating, he's kind of eliminating his chance to break through by doing those Knights, because that just puts him down in elixir, so he can't outcycle us too well. I'm gonna do a high Tesla here just to hopefully get some damage on his Queen. Not gonna quite finish it off, unfortunately, but I could have done it a bit lower. I just wanted to do it higher, just in case. Because if you do it lower, then the Queen will usually just walk to your tower when they use the invisibility code. And we're gonna get a Princess at the bridge here, just because he wasted so much protecting that Expo that I knew that we could get a pretty free Princess at the bridge there to get a nice couple of shots. And we're just gonna rocket his Expo here. Sometimes in triple elixir against Expo, you'll have to start rocketing their tower and defending with Teslas and all that, but here I know we're up a lot, so I'm not really too worried about getting damage. And we're just gonna Tesla at the bridge here. I'm not really predicting his Expo, but kind of just halting his Queen. And he's gonna Knight as well, but that'll just give us an easy Valkyrie that's gonna swipe at both of them and finish off things pretty nicely. And we're gonna Tesla here because we have a Princess on the board. Especially when you have like a Princess on the board already, you can pretty easily just Valkyrie Tesla their Expos if you want to conserve your rocket. Yeah, we're gonna have a pretty nice win here. Not too much to say about it. Just making sure to cycle the cards in the proper order and get those nice Princesses at the bridge. GG. Alright, hopping in the next game, we're going to be against this guy. And guys, I actually did switch to the Inferno Tower version for this game just to show you what other options you have if you want to try some different bait decks. I feel like the Inferno Tower version is probably a bit better overall, but I'm more of a quick cycle player, so I do prefer Tesla myself. And this guy's going to use Mother Witch Dark Prince on our first Goblin Barrel, but still going to get a ton of damage, luckily for us. So this most likely means RG. It could be a weird E-Giant version. But yeah, seeing the Fisherman, it probably is RG. And our Princess barely not going to finish off his Fisherman, honestly just because of it being under-leveled, but yeah, I know you guys have the same issue, so it is what it is. We do also have guards level 13, but yeah, I mean, if you guys do have under-leveled guards, I'd recommend using Goblin Gang instead of them, just because the main use for guards is that they can counter the Queen really well in this meta, but if you have under-leveled guards, they actually just their shields get one-shot by the Queen, so it's not really worth it to use it over a Goblin Gang. And he's gonna Lightning here, so that will make it a little bit more difficult. The Lightning will finish off our Inferno Tower really easily, but the guards are also a really good counter to the RG. And we're just going to go a bit aggressive here because I feel like he spent a lot, so we might be able to make something happen. His E-Spirit is also a bit under-leveled, so you actually got a ton of chip damage because of that. Yeah, looking really good. This Queen could be a bit hard to deal with. Just gonna try to stall it at the bridge a bit to hopefully finish it off. We did make him use an early ability, and yeah, as you can see there, the guards get shredded a lot faster than normal against the queen just because of being a bit underleveled, but not really too worried about it because we do still have the Valkyrie as a nice queen counter if we need it. And yeah, just playing this matchup pretty slowly. And since he does have lightning, we might have to try to finish off some of his RGs using like guards, Valkyrie log, rather than Inferno tower. So make sure to not always use your Inferno tower on defense against them. It's usually good to just switch it up sometimes. And yeah, we keep getting these really nice goblin chip hits just by switching up our goblin barrel placements here. So that's really helping us out. And yeah, he's gonna queen it. Could be a bit annoying to defend. We're gonna get a nice log off here too, though, before he had the chance to use an ability. And he spent so much elixir on the queen and all of that, so he didn't have enough time for a lightning. And we could Inferno tower here, but I just want to defend this, probably with guards and all that. Just so that in case he gets to another RG in a little bit, we have that Inferno tower in cycle. Because having Inferno tower guards and Valkyrie, you don't really have a very fast cycle, so it's better to just switch up your defense against these types of decks. And we're gonna clean up his stuff pretty nicely here. Mother Witch definitely not as strong as it used to be. It feels like it always gets finished off pretty easily by a lot of units now. And we keep outcycling his log pretty easy. And we're actually gonna guards here just so that the fisherman stays in the tower range and the princess splashes, but it is gonna walk forward, but we still got one big princess splash here. And he is going to RG, but he doesn't have enough for a lightning right away, so our Inferno tower should clean that up pretty well. And yeah, now we're just like 2 rockets off winning. Just going to be a bit passive, but okay, he does give us that Dark Prince value, so we're just going to log rocket it. Even the Dark Prince with the shield isn't immune to a rocket if you just get that double combo on it. And he is going to have a Mother Witch down there, so the Valkyrie is going to splash his queen as well. We're just gonna Goblin Barrel here. Should be just about game. Just one more rocket if he... Okay, he did lightning though. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy. Peace.